All right, folks, despite the market being red pretty much for the, I don't know, how many weeks and how many days now, and obviously dragging AMC and AMC stock being constantly attacked because when the market are red, well, it's easier for the short sellers to do what short sellers do the most, short selling the stock. All right. Now, I want us in the midst of all this to pause for a second and listen to one, if not the top or the best investor the world have ever known. Because when you listen actually to what he has to say for this specific point, which I believe all AMC investors, all AMC holders should actually pay attention to. All right, it's gonna give you a better sense of why you shouldn't panic if around what is happening now, and definitely why you should still be hopeful about the stock going to the moon. Not my words, Warren Buffett words. Let's listen quickly and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So here we go.
Recommending that people buy stocks today or tomorrow or next week or next month, but you shouldn't buy stocks unless you expect to hold them for a very extended period and you are prepared financially and psychologically to hold them the same way you would hold a farm and never look at a quote. You don't need to pay attention to them, and you're not going to pick the bottom and nobody else can pick it for you or anything of the sort. You've got to be prepared to, when you buy a stock, have it go down 50% or more and be comfortable with it. There have been 3 times in Berkshire's history when the price of Berkshire stock went down 50%. 3 different times. Now, if you owed it on borrowed money, it could have been cleaned out. There wasn't anything wrong with Berkshire when those 3 times occurred. But if you're going to look at the price of the stock and think that you have to act because it's doing this or that, or somebody else tells you, well, how can you stay with that when something else is going up? You've got to be in the right psychological position. And frankly, some people can handle it psychologically. If you can't handle it psychologically, then you really shouldn't own stocks because you're going to buy and sell them for a long time.
I hope you paid attention because he uncovered 2 main things here. All right, 2 main things. First off, before you buy a stock, any stock, it doesn't matter which one is it. It doesn't matter the catalyst behind it. All right, it doesn't matter your strategy while you're buying it. You should be aware of 2 things. First off, be prepared mentally, psychologically, to hold on to that stock for a very long period of time, and also be prepared for that stock to go down significantly. He used the term 50%. He used 50% as an example because the stock of his company, Berkshire Hathaway stock, Berkshire stock went down 3 times, almost 50%. It doesn't literally matter that the company is worth half of what it was, but it's just those phases where stocks goes to. But if you actually pay attention as an investor, it shouldn't phase you out, because if you are not able to handle those swings, those drop, then maybe you shouldn't be buying that stock to begin with. When it comes to AMC has been down almost 60, 75, 80% now at the moment I'm making this video from the highs of 72. What has changed from then to now? Pretty much nothing, because the bottom line here with this stock, with this play, with this investment, especially if you're holding, is the fact that the short sellers have not covered. But since June of last year, when it hit 72, which is the all-time high, we had so many other stuff, so many other news, so many other catalysts that came into the play, that came into existence. I'm talking about the regulation on one hand. I'm talking about the stock market conditions and latest price actions overall on second, and third, the fundamentals of the company, especially when you look at the Q4 earnings and the very early results around the box office since 2022 started. When you combine all of that, plus knowing that we own 90% of the stock, man, at some point they will have to cover. So until that changes, then you shouldn't be really worried. Why? Because this is just the regular stuff happening when you invest into the stock market. Now, when you jump into these things, this is a note that I captured on from Reddit. We are at $15 a share with more investors, cash on hand, and better debt restructuring. We literally popped to 72 before Spider-Man and Batman even came out. That was June of last year. Apes have been buying for over a year, even more now. And the CEO said that we own over 90% of the shares. And by we, I mean retail investors, all right, over 90% of the float. It's physically impossible for the price to be this low with the measly 10% portion that the share the hedge funds own, just 10%. So how come 10% is able to drag down that much, that quickly, the share price owned by over 90% of other type of investors? I put my money that we own that the float is over 3 times minimum what we know now. Adam Aaron said over 90%, that could easily be 500%, which is actually true. Even at 90%, they will be screwed because they are owning only 10%. If you do the math, something doesn't add up. This stock will pop at any given moment. Nobody knows when or how it's gonna happen, but it may be the new rules, all right? It may be the market, it may be the liquidity drying up because of the short sellers doing what they've been doing so far since months. But if you didn't sell at $72 a share, why will you sell now at 15 when the bullish sentiment is even higher? Again, if you look at the rules, you look at the new regulations, you look at what the market has been doing since 2022, and you look at how AMC as a company is going financially as a company, it's even better than when the stock popped to 72. So I will say they can still drop it even to $10 a share, but it doesn't change the rationale. It doesn't change the reality. It doesn't change the bottom line for anybody holding AMC stock today, which is, again, the shorts have not covered. So chill for a second, man.